Lin Chunti lost his footing and fell into the water while touring the lake by boat. I was just about to have my maid pass an oar to rescue him, when a row of small gilded characters suddenly appeared before my eyes. The female supporting character really has some moves. She drags the top scholar onto her boat, then demands repayment for her kindness in public. Now she can happily become the top scholar's wife. It doesn't matter. The male lead doesn't like her anyway. Even if he marries her, she'll just be a decoration. He'll divorce her sooner or later. I stared at these small golden words in astonishment, and unconsciously stopped giving my orders. Lin Chunhei didn't wait for me to rescue him. Instead, he struggled to climb onto the stern himself and slumped onto the deck, soaking wet and gasping for breath. Greet, the male lead saved himself. He no longer has to be forced to marry the female supporting character. The male lead saved himself this time. He won't be constrained by the debt of a life-saving favor ever again. The female supporting character's scheme is going to fall through. I hope the male and female leads get a he. Those small gilded characters constantly shifting before my eyes were filled with accusations against me. Word for word. It was then that I realized I was merely a character in a storybook, the most despicable and scheming supporting role in everyone's eyes. The male lead, Lin Chunhei, is the only legitimate grandson of a prestigious noble family. The female lead, Feng Xiyue, is a noble daughter from a scholarly family, unrivaled in both talent and beauty, while I am just an unnoticed concubine-born daughter from the family of a minor 7th-rank official. By a stroke of luck and heavenly grace, I was granted special permission to study at the academy, alongside these favored elites. During the lake tour organized by the academy, I accidentally saved Lin Chun after the boat docked. His disheveled appearance was etched into the eyes of those with designs. Me father and brother got ideas about climbing the social ladder, spreading the news everywhere, forcing the Lin family to marry me to repay the debt of gratitude. During the wedding preparations, the emperor granted grace, ordering the academy to select talent without sticking to rigid conventions. Feng Xiyue took this opportunity to come out on top in one fell swoop, was titled Commandery Princess, put in charge of the various departments of women's studies, and became famous throughout the world. Meanwhile, Lin Chunhei and I were criticized for indulging in vulgar romance, deemed unfit for great things, and were kicked out of the academy. Since things had come to this, I originally wanted to live a stable life with him, but no matter how I managed the household or carefully served him, I could not earn his respect. Lin Chunhei even used drunkenness as an excuse multiple times to wantonly humiliate me. Trapped in the inner courtyard, I could only endure it in silence. Until one day he returned beaming with joy, saying Feng Xiyue had asked the emperor for freedom in marriage, and they would soon be able to be together. After saying that, he smiled and handed me a small pot of wine. If you drink this, it will grant you release, and also fulfill the wishes of me and Xiyue. I clutched that small red pot and cried for a long time. In the dead of night, I poured it all into the water vat reserved for the masters of the Lin family. Then, everything ended. The story returned to the very beginning. I came back to my senses and found that Lin Chunhei was already sitting at the stern of the boat. This time he was very cautious. After narrowly escaping death, he immediately straightened his clothes, terrified of showing even the slightest bit of unseemliness. Seeing me looking at him, he sneered. "What decent girl dares to stare at a man so brazenly? Are you plotting something?" After saying that, he scooted back a bit more. "In broad daylight, I advise you to put away those shady thoughts." Just then, some pleasure boats approached from all around. Only when they got close did I realize they were all boats belonging to my classmates' female relatives, so I couldn't drive him over to them. Thinking of everything in the past, I steeled my heart. "Get off." Lin Chunhei ignored me, continuing to tidy himself up on his own. I turned to instruct the maid steering the boat. "Give me the oar." The little maid handed it over hesitantly. I gripped it with both hands and walked towards Lin Chunhei. Seeing this, his expression changed. He took a step back and fell into the lake again. The moment he hit the water, the golden subtitles in front of me started shifting wildly again. Has the female supporting character gone crazy? If she can't have the male lead, she wants to destroy him. She clearly wants to wear the male lead down to exhaustion, then forcibly take control. What a vicious mind! Where is the female lead? Hurry and save him. A small boat draped in light white gauze slowly drifted over from the distance. Cousin, Fang Shiyue stood at the bow, calling out plaintively to Lin Chunhei. Lin Chunhei, clinging tightly to the stern, turned back in pleasant surprise. Cousin Fang, don't worry, I am coming over right now. No, cousin, it is too dangerous. Fang Shiyue quickly interrupted Lin Chunhei and secretly signaled the maid steering the boat to move it away. Cousin, hold tight to Sister Chen's boat and hang on until it docks. Lin Chunhei looked at her receding boat with a bewildered face. The heroine is way too naive and sweet. She has no clue about the viciousness of the human heart. This female supporting character is still in a standoff with the male lead on the lake. Is she trying to force him to compromise? Fang Shiyue's boat docked quickly. She stood by the shore, weakly clutching her chest, gazing toward us. Chen Rulin, pull me up, Lin Shun. He sounded self-righteous. Men and women must keep their distance. It would be improper. Then are you going to just watch me sink? Lin Chunhei, look over there. I signaled for him to look at the crowded people on the shore. If I pull you up, once we dock, looking like you do, it will be hard to explain. Lin Chunhei stared at me fixedly, thought for a moment, and finally gritted his teeth and agreed. Then, I'll hold on to the side of the boat and not get on. When the boat docked, he walked out of the water with a pale face. Before he could stand steady, he pitched forward onto the ground and passed out. Since falling into the water, Lin Chunhei never came to the school again. Rumors circulated in the academy that his high fever wouldn't break, and he was unconscious, but I didn't believe them. After all, Feng Shiyue, the heroine, still attended school on time every day, her words and behavior showing no signs of sorrow or worry. But who would have expected the rumors to actually be true? As soon as I got home from school, father and the mistress were waiting at the door, and they immediately scolded me angrily. You wretch, you've caused the whole family to be dragged down by you. Who told you to knock Erlin off the boat? He is the only legitimate son in 3 generations of single heirs, and you've harmed him into a coma. What do you expect us to pay with? Even if your father and brother's official posts were tied together, they couldn't withstand a single stomp from them. I was taken by my furious father to the Lin residence to apologize. Coincidentally, just as we arrived at the Lin residence, news came that Lin Chunhei's fever had broken and he was awake. So I was brought before him and told to apologize in person. He leaned against the headboard, his face pale, but his eyes full of malice. Chen Rulin, I want you to serve me until I recover. I shook my head. That is unreasonable. He pointed at me, then pointed back at himself, with righteous indignation. You caused me to end up like this. I didn't report you to the officials. I just asked you to look after me. That is already showing mercy. But if my boat hadn't saved you, you wouldn't even have the chance to say this to me. I can make amends, but you have to repay the life-saving debt first. At the mention of the life-saving debt, Lin Chunhei's expression changed drastically. If the household truly needs someone to provide care, no one is more suitable than Fang Shiyue. Lin Chunhei immediately refused. She won't do. She has proper business to attend to. I was about to laugh out of anger at his shamelessness. Seeing that the day for the emperor's special examination was drawing nearer, he also knew he couldn't go and disturb Fang Shiyue. Then, what about others? So other people's futures just don't matter. She is your cousin. If even your cousin can't come take care of you, let alone me. We have no connection whatsoever, and I don't want my reputation ruined by you. Besides, I also have the serious business of studying to do. If your household is really short on caretakers, don't be stingy with money, hurry up, and hire a few medical attendants. The academy teaches 4 subjects in total: rites, music, literature, and mathematics. Due to my status as a concubine's daughter, I hadn't formally studied sacrificial rites or music before enrolling, so I am not skilled in those 2 subjects. But my birth mother was a merchant's daughter, so literature and mathematics are my strengths, and I consistently top the academy rankings. Now, there are only 2 months left until the grace examination. In the remaining days, I absolutely must give it my all to fight for a bright future for myself. Only then would living this life again not be in vain. I threw myself into grueling practice, no longer bothering with the outside noise. Only occasionally, during breaks, would I look at those floating subtitles. If the female supporting character didn't act up, she'd actually be quite inspiring. She studies like her life depends on it. Let the clumsy bird fly early. But what is the use? Etiquette is something that takes time to accumulate. How could she possibly compare to baby Sia? I wonder if this will threaten the female lead's grades. Looking at the intro, the female supporting character's calligraphy and math are much better than the female lead's absolutely impossible. The male lead has already found outside help for the female lead. That divine abacusses from the capital has already started tutoring the female lead. The story setup is that the female lead wins the top spot. Only then can she obtain marriage freedom, and the male and female leads can be together. I just feel like the female supporting character isn't all that bad. I wonder how she is doing in this life. Please put away your pointless sympathy. Don't forget how many evil deeds she committed in her past life. Think this is enough to whitewash her? I don't know why these words are appearing or who is posting them, but I am certain that only I can see them. Like my inner demons, clinging tightly to me, belittling me again and again. I raised my head and pressed my fingertips onto the strings, ignoring the stinging pain, and continued to practice with the score. Whether I am a supporting character in the story, or being loathed and belittled, the comments they make have nothing to do with me. I have my own path to walk. I want to rank first. At the end of every month, the Academy holds a comprehensive assessment where the instructors evaluate and pick the top 3. They won't just get top-quality brushes and ink. They'll also get their names posted on the board as a reward. Ever since I made up my mind, I've made getting on the list my monthly goal. 3 months later, I finally made it onto the list. The day after I made the list, Lin Chunhei, who'd treated me like air since returning to school, immediately came looking for me. He blocked my path in the alley outside the academy. Chen Rulin, what teacher did your family hire to tutor you? I didn't want to bother with him, so I turned sideways to walk around him. He grabbed my arm. Let go, I snapped coldly. He seemed startled by his own actions too, and hurriedly let go. I am talking to you. Answer me. Which teacher did you hire? I stepped around him and walked straight away. He followed with great dissatisfaction, but didn't dare get too close, just shouting angrily from behind. You didn't hire a tutor. Who are you trying to fool? With that clumsy look of yours, knowing nothing of flower arrangement or tea tasting, how could you make the top 3 in etiquette and music? You didn't even bring an instrument in your dowry. So, you must be no good at it. I turned back abruptly and asked him coldly, Young Master Lin, what nonsense are you spouting? He suddenly stopped talking, looking at me awkwardly. At this moment, the gilded subtitles started flashing again. The male lead has a point. The female supporting character was like a maid in her previous life, and now she is suddenly proficient in music, chess, calligraphy, and painting. Anyone would suspect cheating. Not. Really. The female supporting character's grades weren't bad to begin with, and she has been working so hard lately it is normal for her to place, right? But she took the female lead's spot. Yeah, the female supporting character is really annoying. She stole the female lead's male lead in her past life, and she stole the female lead's grades in this life. Working so hard, it is normal to get a reward, right? Lin Shunhei asked me in a low voice. What will it take for you to not steal Siyue's ranking? My gaze moved away from the subtitles. I really didn't understand what he meant. I stole Fang Siyue's ranking. If it weren't for you this time, Siyue would have made the list. Too ridiculous. I didn't want to waste my breath on him anymore, but I caught a glimpse of a familiar robe out of the corner of my eye. Lin Shunhei, are you asking me to give my results to Fang Siyue? He was a bit slow to react, scratching his head with his fan. Right, if you agree money, jewelry, take your pick, I shouted. I won't accept your bribes. I won't conspire with you to cheat and commit fraud. He got anxious too, shouting along with me. What are you shouting for, if you don't want the valuables? Fine, then, what about the clothes from Yuegi Fang? That familiar robe drew near. Sure enough, it was Master Shu from the discipline hall. Lin Chunhee, you are far too impudent. Lin Chunhee was dragged off to the discipline hall by Master Shu, and as a witness and victim, I followed along to state my case. In my 3 years at the academy, this was the first time I had set foot here. The courtyard full of punishment benches and boards gave me quite a scare. But in the blink of an eye, I saw Lin Shunhei being pinned dead tight onto the punishment bench by 3 boys, and I almost laughed out loud, sir. I am innocent. Lin Shunhei squirmed stubbornly. Shut him up. Master Shu stood on the steps ahead and ordered the boy to gag his mouth. I stood by Lin Shunhei's side, head bowed, quietly watching to see what would happen. After about half a stick of incense's time, many masters arrived in the courtyard. Judging by their attire, some were in charge of discipline inspection, some were responsible for grading exams, and others handled daily teaching. Once the masters had all arrived, the questioning began. You are a student of the Huazhao class, and he is from the Chuncheon class. There isn't usually much overlap between you two. So why would he seek you out? I don't know either. It is just that on my way to school today, I was suddenly stopped by him. Master Shu nodded. I was following behind them and heard it with my own ears. But it wasn't to cheat for himself. It was for a student named something Yue. The master of the Chuncheon class immediately jumped out. Then that settles it. Lin Shunhei definitely wasn't doing it for himself. He has always been steady and eager to learn, possessing the talent of a top scholar. He wouldn't possibly resort to such low tricks for his own sake. The other teachers chimed in as well, after all. Lin Shunhei was a genuine child of the nobility. Yes. The ode to Spring Chunhei handed in to me the day before yesterday was written extremely well. He is a man of learning. Student Chen, do you know which student he was doing this for? I looked toward Lin Shunhei. He looked anxious and was struggling, wanting to speak. After receiving a signal, the attendant removed the cloth gagging his mouth. There is no one else. I was just messing around with student Chen. He immediately tried to dissociate himself from Feng Shiyue. I shook my head. I am not familiar with you. Yet, you pestered me several times, insisting that I occupied someone else's rank, and demanding that I give it up. Master Shu immediately asked the masters responsible for grading. They checked for a moment and found that the person ranked directly below me was indeed Feng Shiyue. That matches up then. Who is Feng Shiyue? It has nothing to do with her. I did it all alone. She knows nothing about it. Hearing Feng Shiyue's name, Lin Chunhei was so furious that his veins bulged. Which one of you dares to frame her? I'll make sure my father doesn't let you off. Even an academy founded personally by the emperor couldn't override the privileges of the powerful. Lin Chunhei received a symbolic 10 strokes of the board and was sent back to his estate to reflect on his mistakes. And that was the end of the matter. But this is just as well. It saves me from being dragged by my father and brother to apologize to him once the details are out. After the 10 days of reflection were over, I actually saw Feng Shiyue and Lin Chunhei meeting secretly by the inkstone washing pond during the lunch break. She was wiping her eyes with a handkerchief, looking all aggrieved. Cousin, are you recovering well? Uncle is strict with the household, so it wasn't appropriate for me to come visit you. Lin Chunhee stared straight at Fang Xie, looking completely love-struck. Okay. They wouldn't dare hit me too hard. Fang Xie's eyes were red. That is good. The masters have treated me as usual these past few days. So I couldn't really ask about your affairs. Lin Chunhee hurriedly comforted her. You were right. I took it all on myself and told them it had nothing to do with you. Fang Xie jerked her head up and asked him in disbelief. You told them it has nothing to do with me? That is right. I said I did it all alone. If anyone dares to falsely accuse you, I won't spare them. Fang Xie closed her eyes, composed herself for a moment, then switched to a gentle tone. Thank you, cousin. I'll definitely work hard from now on and make the rankings next month. Don't push yourself too hard. The exam isn't a big deal. Your health is the most important. No. Lin Chunhee was startled by Fang Xie. Why, cousin, you know how far apart our two families are. Ever since Aunt married into the Lin household, she practically cut ties with us, and we can't easily come to visit. I'll send an invitation to your house. Then do you want me to be a second aunt? Or something that doesn't measure up to aunt? A concubine? I was shocked by Fang Xie's boldness, that a sheltered maiden would directly speak such words about marriage. But Lin Chunhee seemed accustomed to it. Then what do you want? I want to make the rankings and stay on the list. As long as I am excellent enough, whatever opportunities come later will allow our family to turn our fortunes around. By then, I'll be able to walk through your front door with my head held high. Lin Chunhee pondered for a moment, then nodded to her. All right, I'll help you. Why do the male and female leads feel like villains? The more I watch, the more I think the male lead is brainless, and the female lead is dark. It is really so weird. A young couple sticking together through thick and thin, simply God tier. Shut up if you don't get it, exactly. Why don't you guys hate the female side character? She is the real stumbling block in the male and female leads' lives. Am I the only one curious about what the male and female leads will do next? There is plenty they can do. Ever since the Inkstone washing pond, my every day at the academy has been miserable beyond words. If it wasn't my zither strings being inexplicably cut, it was my inkstone being smashed, or even my stool being broken apart. It was Lin Chunhee's doing. In the last life, for the sake of Fang Xie, he could send me off with a bottle of poisoned wine. In this life, tripping me up for her again is nothing more than a piece of cake. I looked up at the sky, right now. It was completely clean, without a single subtitle. Why aren't there any of those hurtful words? Is it because they are the protagonists? So even if they do evil things, they don't have to face condemnation. In that case, let me seek justice for myself. I brought all the damaged items to the discipline hall and reported the matter to Master Shu. Master Shu quickly accepted my complaint and promised to monitor the situation in secret, assuring me that justice would be done. After that, I stuck close to Fang Xie's side every day. I didn't believe Lin Chunhee would dare to make a move after all. He wouldn't risk breaking the vase just to hit the rat. I suffered through a month like this, and then the new rankings were posted again. I moved up one spot to second place. Fang Xie still didn't make the list. When school let out, I purposely took my time packing up, waiting until the classmates were almost all gone before I headed out. Sure enough, just as I stepped out the door, I saw Lin Chunhee blocking the school entrance with a dark face. I see you haven't had enough of the recent lessons. I played dumb. What do you mean? He was menacing. Don't play dumb with me, if you aren't afraid. Why are you clinging to Xie all day? I put on an expression of sudden realization. So it was you who cut my zither strings. You destroyed my books, paper, and inkstones. Fang Xie put you up to this again. Didn't she? I did it because I wanted to. Then you still did it for Fang Xie. Last time you bribed and cheated for her, and this time you are bullying a classmate for her. Shut up! He stormed over to grab me, but was pinned down by Master Shu. who was lying in wait nearby. Master Shu handed him over to the servant boys to be bound, then arranged for others to send for Father Lin, the other masters, and Feng Xia. Student Chen, you have been wronged these past days. This time, I will definitely ensure justice for you. Lin Chunhei was pressed onto the punishment bench, and the paddle rose and fell on his backside, hitting very solidly. At first, he still cursed furiously, but later the pain made him forget everything else, and he just wailed in a low voice. This time, no one pleaded for mercy for him. It wasn't that the teachers had suddenly grown a conscience or that the Lin family had fallen, but rather that everyone had received news. The emperor plans to hold a special civil service examination to select talent regardless of background. At a time like this, if word got out that a noble son bullied a student from a humble family, surely all the masters in the academy would face repercussions. For 14 or 15-year-old youths, being competitive is normal. Lin Chunhei bullied someone and immediately got a severe paddling. If this spreads, people will only praise the masters for clear rewards and punishments, and dismiss young Master Lin's actions as youthful spirit. I stood in the corner, watching the entire punishment expressionlessly. This female supporting character is so vicious. Was it really necessary to beat the male lead like this? Yeah, this is ancient times. If things go wrong, someone could die. Otherwise, how would she be the vicious female side character? Do you guys really not think the male and female leads are problematic? Isn't the male lead just bullying the female supporting character? In the floating subtitles, two groups of people were arguing. I looked through the gap and saw Lin's father storm off, without taking Lin Chunhei with him. A moment later, servants finally propped up Lin Chunhei and headed towards the schoolhouse. Why did the male lead's dad leave? Does he not care about the male lead? Poisoned to death in the last life, beaten to death in this life? That is just too miserable. Practically died at the hands of the female supporting character both times. Misery upon misery. I felt a twinge of pity, thinking that if it really came down to it, I'd call a doctor for him. So I quietly followed him. I had just stepped into the corridor outside when I heard Feng Xiu's tearful complaints coming from the room. Uncle is so heartless. You've been beaten like this, yet he won't even take you back to recover. Lin Chunhei's breathing was weak, but he insisted on comforting her. It is fine. Father has prepared top-quality medicine for me. I'll recover very soon, but the servant boys in the dormitory are rough-handed. They're not as good as the ones I am used to at home. Father said the emperor intends to hold a special examination. He reckons trusted aides have already been sent to the academy to assess the situation, so I have to obediently accept the punishment. Feng Xue fell silent for a moment, then started sobbing again. It is my fault. I couldn't beat Chen Rulin in the exam, and I even dragged you down, cousin. Lin Chunhei started to panic. Don't cry. I told you this has nothing to do with you. It was I who underestimated that Chen Rulin and let her get something on me. I am just sad. If the emperor really holds a special exam, I surely won't be able to beat Chen Rulin. Cousin, I am afraid we won't be able to be together anymore. Let me try again. Feng Xue sounded a bit anxious. Cousin, what do you plan to do? Lin Chunhei sighed, his breathing becoming increasingly faint. Let me think. His Feng Xue started sobbing softly again. Lin Chunhei mustered his energy again to comfort her. Don't cry, don't hurt your eyes. I remember she wasn't this clever in the last life, just rough and foolish. Every day, apart from doing housework and waiting on the elders, she has no other hobbies. She doesn't read, doesn't play the zither, and the way she dresses is hideous. Feng Xue reminded him in a whisper. Cousin, what are you talking about? Lin Chunhei laughed sheepishly. Look at me. I am so mad, I am not thinking straight. Leave this to me. I'll arrange for someone to look into her. Let's see exactly what kind of shady business she has been up to. I clenched my fists, my fingertips digging hard into my palms. Ridiculous. Here I am playing the saint, worrying that just like the subtitles said, I'd ruin Lin Shunti's whole life again. But he turns right around and schemes how to screw me over again. If we really get into the details, wasn't it him who first wanted me to take poison? Who first wanted my life? What exactly do I owe him? I was the one who saved his life. The prerequisite for demanding repayment for a favor is that there is actually a favor to begin with. Forcing him into marriage was a wicked deed committed by my father and brother. But it is not like he didn't have the chance to resist or refuse. Even at the very end, he could have properly discussed a divorce or repudiating me, instead of taking my life with a cup of poisoned wine. What is more, in this life I've already backed down time and again. Why exactly does he hate me like this? Is it just because I am a supporting character? Disheartened, I walked home slowly. I suddenly don't know what to say. Speechless +1, why? Do the male and female leads seem like villains? That is what I want to ask too. Wasn't this supposed to be a satisfying wife-chasing story? Face slapping the vicious villainess? How did it turn into an evil couple battling a stubborn little white flower? Inexplicably sympathized with this. No matter how hard beasts of burden work, they can't win against XXX. Her life was taken in the last life, and her future is being stripped away in this one. Is she a vicious villainess or a tragic little cabbage? It is just a novel. Don't project too much. All right? I hope you run into people like the male and female. Leads everywhere in your real life. Watch your mouth. Oh, so you wouldn't want that either. I had no mind to pay attention to the rapidly scrolling subtitles. Mentally and physically exhausted, I fell into a deep sleep. I woke up with a start in the middle of the night. I stared blankly at the dark bed curtains, but suddenly heard a faint noise coming from outside the bedroom. Creak the sound of a bookcase opening. Rustle the sound of flipping through a book. Swish the sound of pulling out paper. Then came a rustling, fabric rubbing as they moved, as if placing something down. I went from being terrified at first to pricking up my ears to listen. I guessed who this person was and what they were up to. It was none other than Lin Shanti. He wants to send someone to see what shady business I've been up to achieve such results. Presumably, even if he can't find anything, with his skills he can still arrange a thing or two for me. I lay on the bed without making a sound, until that person quietly left. On the new list, my name stood alone at the top. Across the crowd, Feng Shiyue and I looked at each other from a distance. This time, her face no longer held the frailty and sorrow of the past. She just looked at me coldly. I guess they're about to make a move. After class ended, the master did not leave. After looking around at everyone, he solemnly announced the news that the emperor would be holding a special examination at the end of the month. While everyone was still in shock, the master added, "The emperor decrees, recruit exceptionally without restriction. Only steadfastness and sincerity are required. Please bear this in mind, gentlemen. If any trickery is discovered, not only will the appointment be revoked, but you won't be allowed to stay in this academy either." The master looked at me. "Right now, if you confess in advance, we will let bygones be bygones." Having said that, the master left, but his attitude practically made it clear to everyone that there was a problem with me. I knew it. I was wondering how her grades were so good. Turns out she was pulling tricks. So what? Didn't she give herself away right before the big exam and get caught faking it all along? How do you guys think the master will punish her? Revoke her qualification for the special exam. Wipe her ranking. A girl squealed softly. Wow, Shiyue, if that is true, then you can take the spot on the list. I turned back at the sound, meeting Feng Shiyue's gaze once again. She stared straight at me, covering her mouth as she chuckled. I'll go with whatever the masters arrange. I don't care. It is the score I earned myself anyway, so I wouldn't go so far as to despise myself. After all, one ought to realize exactly what they... I packed up my books and writing tools and walked straight out. Passing the alley outside the academy, I was called out to by Master Shu from the discipline hall. Greetings. Master, he looked worried as he asked me in a low voice. Why didn't you take a sedan chair? There are only 2 sedan chairs at home. My father, brother, and the mistress all need to use them, so we really couldn't spare one. Besides, I am used to walking. I've been walking on foot for all my years of schooling. Master Shu nodded, looking even more troubled. Then you, how did you have the spare money to buy? I looked puzzled. Buy what? Although my father and brother are officials in the capital, they only hold positions of the 7th or 8th rank. My family isn't well off, and I am usually very frugal. Master Shu suddenly realized the truth. He stroked his beard and whispered, Then you must have offended someone, for someone to claim you bribed the teacher to swindle the exam questions. Just then, a group of students walked past the alley entrance making a ruckus. Hearing the sound, Master Shu took a few steps back. He dropped a remark, Be extra on your guard, then turned and left. I looked at his back and smiled. Is anyone still reading? Yeah, I saw none of you were posting bullet comments anymore. Thought you all dropped the story. The male and female lead's behavior is honestly a bit too much, but I am also curious to see how far the female supporting character can go. Me too. It actually made me pretty angry watching it. The male lead is snitching behind people's backs again now. Disgusting. If you are projecting too hard, I suggest you show yourself out. Defending the female supporting character in a wife-chasing novel? Are you okay? How do you know it is the male lead? I'd actually say the female lead did it. Stop being such a male apologist. Why read a wife-chasing novel if you don't like it? Don't you start getting all high and mighty with me? The subtitles before my eyes were densely packed, almost blocking my view. I stood helplessly on the spot, only finding it amusing deep down. I wonder if these people speaking up for me now ever cursed me out back then. On the day of the special exam, I entered the exam hall at the very last moment of the entry deadline. The Imperial guards at the gate originally wouldn't let me in, even brandishing their swords to drive me away. But the sage sitting high on the bright yellow seat waved his hand to signal. His voice wasn't loud, yet it was very penetrating. The Emperor is personally presiding over the exam. The intention is to recruit talent without sticking to conventions. Why are you blocking the door? After the guards let me pass, I jogged over to pick up a number plate and stood at the end of the line for the assessment. I didn't care about the ones before me playing instruments, singing, or reciting poetry. I only stole glances at the sage on the high platform, trembling all over with excitement for the high-stakes gamble about to begin. Soon, it was my turn to take the stage. What is your name? I replied respectfully. Student Chen Rulin, aged 16. I have been at the academy for 3 full years, and have ranked on the list for all assessments in the past 6 months. Not bad. What will you be demonstrating? I bowed. I am dull and unskilled in these matters. My birth mother was a merchant's daughter, so I know a little about business and arithmetic. After entering the academy and receiving the master's teachings, I have made only slight progress. I took out a book. Your student has made bold to write the treatise on commerce and commercial strategies, submitting them for the sage's perusal. At this moment, the arena was dead silent. I seemed to hear the sound of the wind blowing past my ears. Just when I thought I had gone deaf, the saint spoke. Bring it up. After submitting the policy essay, it was deathly silent again. I knelt on the ground, forcing myself to observe the shadows on the ground to distract myself. I think the sage is a wise ruler. He opened the grace examination to personally test the scholars as the Son of Heaven. Naturally, he wouldn't be doing this without a purpose. In my previous life, although I was trapped in the inner residence, I also heard that a few years later, the emperor issued an edict encouraging women to take the imperial examinations and engage in trade. So I surmise that the purpose of this Enki is to screen for specialized talents. I have no idea what Feng Xia did to take first place and get the position of head of the female academy. But this time, the top spot will definitely be mine. Chen Rulin, the emperor's hearty laughter came from the high platform. I hurriedly responded. This student is present. Was this policy essay truly written by you yourself? It was indeed written by this student alone. I ask you again, do you dare to work alongside men? I raised my head, ignoring etiquette and rules, and looked straight at the emperor. There is nothing this student cannot do. Good. I name you the top scholar to enter the Ministry of Revenue and be responsible for trade and taxation. I was so excited I choked up. This student accepts the command. Your Majesty. Wait, speaking in unison with me was Lin Shunhe, who rushed out from the corner shouting, I report, Chen Rulin has vile character and lacks academic integrity. I stepped a few paces to the side in disgust, not wanting to get close to him. Lin Shunhe pushed his luck even further by occupying the center, continuing to loudly shout about being wronged. Student Lin Shunhe, grandson of Lin Guishan. I could not bear to see the sage deceived by villains, so I specifically present my case to the sage. No one interrupted him, and Lin Shunhe grew even more confident. Chen Rulin is nothing but the concubine-born daughter of a petty 7th-rank official. She is usually clumsy and utterly stupid. 6 months ago, she came into a windfall and immediately started bribing the master to get exam answers in advance, repeatedly landing on the academy's rankings. It must be the same for this special exam. All of us honestly took the test. Except her, she didn't show anything. Just whipped out a pre-written policy essay. All of the above proves that Chen Rulin is guilty of scholarly misconduct. I implore your Majesty to see the truth. The buzzing discussion down below grew louder and louder. I held my patience and waited for the saint's questioning. Finally, the saint asked with a hint of curiosity, Chen Rulin, aren't you going to defend yourself? I felt calm inside. I had won this gamble. Your Majesty, it is a long story. Let's hear it. Half a year ago, the Academy Master led us on a lake tour to enjoy the spring. During the trip, young Master Ava slipped and fell into the lake close to my boat. Due to strict propriety, I only let him hold onto the stern until we reached the shore. But I didn't expect this to offend the Lin family. My father and brother forced me to go and apologize. But even after apologizing, young Master Ava didn't forgive me. Out of fear, I could only focus on my studies, praying for the master's protection. I didn't expect my grades to get in young Master Ava's way again. They thought I stole young Master Ava's cousin's spot, Feng Shiyue. That is, so first he bribed me, hoping I'd withdraw from the rankings. After I refused, he started tormenting and bullying me in every way. Finally, he even bought off a servant in my family to plant stolen goods, attempting to frame me. Lin Shunhe whipped his head around to glare at me. You dare make false accusations. Smiling, I pulled the paper from my sleeve and waved it at him. This is the receipt from the magistrate's office. I went to report a case of a wicked servant betraying his master, which is why I nearly missed the grace examination. Lin Shunhe's face instantly turned pale. He stared at me blankly, then immediately turned back to look at Feng Shiyue in the crowd. Feng Shiyue quietly slipped out of the crowd without batting an eyelid. I continued my report to the sage. The Academy's masters and the Discipline Hall's pages can all testify for this student. The Emperor gave a few inscrutable chuckles, beckoned the attendant at his side to whisper a few words, and then the attendant hurried away. A moment later, the Academy Dean and Father Lin hurried over, kneeling one after another beside me and Lin Shunhe. Top Scholar Chen, I have summoned the Dean and Lin Xuan for you. When you enter the court in the future, you will be addressing these two as colleagues. We might as well clear up past grievances and debts today, and consider it a closure. The Emperor chuckled lightly. If they do not agree, I shall decide for you. I looked at the pale-faced Lin Shunhe as well as Feng Shiyue hiding in the crowd, and couldn't help but laugh. This student only asks for one thing. May the sage bestow a marriage upon Lin Shunhe and Feng Shiyue. Excuse me, what exactly is this story now? The female supporting character snatched the male lead's top scholar title. What a surreal plot. But regardless of the beginning or middle, the ending is right anyway. The male and female leads received the sage's marriage decree. What you said actually makes a lot of sense. Is no one going to bash the male lead? Is his behavior reasonable? He is bullying and spreading rumors. Right. I don't know why they chose him as the male lead. He has absolutely no charisma. I sat in the official sedan chair bestowed by the emperor, playing with the court tablet that represented my official position. Now, I no longer care what those subtitles say. I can even manage to ignore them. I lifted the curtain of the sedan chair, looking at the bustling shops outside, my heart filled with fulfillment. This is what I should care about. A year ago, I received a secret edict from the emperor to investigate smuggling in the coastal areas and to execute offenders on the spot to establish authority. I traveled along the vast coastline of Great Zhao, and after conducting in-depth research in the villages and towns, I not only disobeyed the decree and refused to punish the fishermen, but also rushed to send back a plan for overseas trade. The emperor is a wise ruler. He pondered for only half a day before granting my request to open up ports for trade. I didn't let down the emperor's high regard either. Within just a year, I brought 100 ships full of treasures and entered the capital to report on my duties. The emperor specially held a treasure appreciation banquet for this, inviting officials and their families. After 5 years, I saw Feng Shiyue again. Time seemed to have treated her exceptionally harshly. Although she was only 20, she looked withered and ruined like an autumn flower struck by frost. When she saw me, she didn't bow respectfully like the others, and say, "Greetings, Lord Chen." Feng Shiyue twirled the wine cup with 2 fingers, glanced at me sideways, and asked in a low, husky voice, "What gives you the right?" Ignored her, and turned to look at the chrysanthemums blooming proudly against the frost in the imperial garden, feeling that she would never understand these truths. Rounding the corridor, just having left Feng Shiyue behind, I ran right into Lin Chunhei. His state was about the same as Feng Shiyue's. I really don't know what kind of life this couple is actually living. He blocked my way. Chen Ruo. "Lord Chen, this student has always had a question to ask. You haven't become the top scholar yet. Don't blame me for being surprised. Calling himself a student meant he didn't have an official position yet. In those subtitles, every word said he was the top scholar, and that I was deliberately scheming to cling to him. In the last life, I was the one who held him back. So how come he still hasn't become the top scholar in this life?" His eyes lit up, and he stepped forward wanting to grab my arm, but I took a step back. "Don't be presumptuous. Ruolin, I knew it. You must be a rebirth too. Otherwise, can you give me one more chance? Let's start over, okay? Regarding our past lives, we were both at fault, so let's wipe the slate clean. How about we start over now?" I reminded him in a serious tone. "Lin Chunhei, I am warning you one last time. If you spout any more nonsense, you can go reflect on your mistakes in the Jingzhao Yin's dungeon." Seeing him standing there in a daze, I walked around him. Lin Chunhei didn't dare to keep following me, just standing in place and shouting, "But I am really not happy. I need you. The meals you prepared, the bedding you arranged, even the furnishings, were all exactly to my liking. I didn't want to be with that crazy woman Feng Shiyue at all. She only humiliates me. She even drinks heavily. She beats my mother and the servants whenever she wants. I am going crazy. Chen Ruolin, I truly love and respect you. Please come home with me. I'll give you the position of main wife." 5 years have passed, and Lin Chunhei still hasn't fixed his bad habit of yelling. I was getting impatient with his noise, and just as I was about to signal the palace hidden guards to knock him out, I heard Feng Shiyue's roar coming from the other end of the corridor. "Lin Chunhei, you have a death wish." In the autumn of the 10th year of the Yonggan era of the Dazhao calendar, Lin Chunhei, the only legitimate grandson of General Lin's manor, took his wife Feng Shiyue to the palace for a banquet, where, drunk, the two fell into Juyu Lake and died. I don't know what to say anymore. Double death is a he too. The wife chasing is over, literally over. Now officially starting the grand heroine story. All hail Emperor Lan. Shipping the Emperor Chancellor CP. Go for it. Little Lan, the Chancellor's seat is beckoning. Stop shipping. The strong female lead is beautiful on her own. It hasn't been easy for her to get this far. She doesn't need a CP. She can live very well by herself. That makes sense. Better to be on top than below. Let's give it a shot. We'll become the Empress. I was amused by the subtitles in front of me. They sure dare to dream. But a female prime minister? I stroked my chin and felt it was worth a try. Stretching, I continue leaning over the table to sort and roughly review business memorials from all over. Let's keep working hard for the future path of becoming a female Prime Minister Chen Rulan.